Subscribe to this YouTube channel please and enjoy watching the video. Here we go. The Premier League is regarded by many as the best, most entertaining league in all of football. Those who believe that certainly would have felt justified in their thinking when they sat down to watch Tottenham Hotspur take on Chelsea in the latest round of fixtures. It turned out to be an absurdly wild encounter as we saw Spurs take the lead early on through Dejan Kulusevski before Son Heung-min then had a goal ruled out for offside. Before the half even ended, Chelsea had 2 goals of their own struck off by VAR, before Cole Palmer equalizer from the spot, with Christian Romero send off for his challenge which led to the penalty. The second half was just as chaotic as Destiny Udogie became the second player to be sent off, this time for a second bookable offence. Chelsea then went ahead through Nicholas Jackson before Eric Dier had a goal ruled out for offside yet again. In injury time, Jackson struck twice to complete his hat-trick and seal a ridiculous 4-1 win. This got us thinking, what are the craziest Premier League games in history? Well, here at GivenSport, we've decided to rank some of the most entertaining matches from the top flight of English football over the years. You can judge the list yourself below. Number 12, Southampton 0-9 Leicester City, October 25, 2019. The record score for the biggest win in the Premier League is 9-0. This has happened only 4 times, but on only one of those occasions has the winning team been the away side. In October 2019, Southampton shipped 9 goals to Leicester City in what really was a remarkable match. Ben Chilwell opened the scoring and Ryan Bertrand got himself sent off in the build-up to that, leaving the Saints in all sorts of trouble. Even so, nobody was expecting the onslaught that followed. Yuri Tielemans and James Maddison got their names on the scoresheet while Jamie Vardy and Ios Perez scored hat-tricks, becoming only the second duo in Premier League history to score a hat-trick for one team in the same game. The other time also came against Southampton, with Jermaine Pennant and Robert Pires scoring 3 goals apiece for Arsenal. On top of all that chaos, Southampton would lose 9-0 again just 15 months later, this time to Manchester United. This made the Saints the first team to be thumped by that scoreline twice, let alone in consecutive seasons. Number 11, Portsmouth 7-4 Reading, September 29, 2007. On paper, there was nothing about Portsmouth versus Reading to get particularly excited about. After all, the home team would finish 8th that season with a goal difference of just +8, while the away side would be relegated with just 36 points to their name. However, fans were treated to an unexpected classic with 11 goals scored as a record was set for the highest scoring match in Premier League history. Adding to the drama, Reading would eventually go down with a goal difference of -25, level on points with Fulham who stayed up instead as their goal difference was -22. Number 10, Tottenham Hotspur 3-5 Manchester United, September 29, 2001. While it's not necessarily that shocking to see an early 2000s Sir Alex Ferguson side travel to Spurs and win, this game makes our list due to the nature of that victory. After all, Man United were trailing 3-0 when the halftime whistle blew. Just a minute into the second 45, however, Andy Cole pulled one back for the Red Devils. Goals from Laurent Blanc, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Jan-Sebastian Veron and David Beckham sealed the resounding turnaround. Only one phrase springs to mind, lads, it's Tottenham. Number 9, Arsenal 4-4 Tottenham Hotspur, October 29, 2008. The North London Derby so often throws up some thrilling encounters, and this 2008 clash at the Emirates may well be the best. Although, it remains a bitter pill to swallow for Arsenal supporters to this day. David Bentley's brilliant early strike put Spurs ahead, but goals from Michael Silvestre, William Gallas, and Emmanuel Adebayor put the Gunners 3-1. Darren Bent pulled one back, but the points looked to be sealed when Robin van Persie added a 4th for the home time. Somehow, Spurs came away with an unexpected point as Jermaine Jenas netted in the 89th minute before Aaron Lennon's injury-time tap-in capped off a stunning fight-back from Harry Redknapp's side. Number 8, Liverpool 4-4 Arsenal, April 21, 2009. Another 4-4 involving Arsenal, and there's more to come too. what an absolute thriller this was. Two teams going head-to-head at Anfield in all-out attack with their defensive vulnerabilities plain to see. What more could you ask for? Hosts Liverpool fell behind, then equalised, then took the lead, then were pulled level, then went behind again, then levelled, then conceded in the 90th minute before finally finding another equaliser in injury time. Yossi Benayoun and Fernando Torres each bagged a brace, but Andrei Arshavin stole the show as he netted 4 times for Arsenal. Number 7, Crystal Palace 3-3 Liverpool, May 5, 2014. At the time, Liverpool were chasing a first-ever Premier League title and leading the back. What's more, they were 3-0 up at Selhurst Park with just 11 minutes to go. By full-time, however, Luis Suarez was left in tears as his team squandered that lead in the most dramatic fashion. Goals from Damian Delaney and a double from substitute Dwight Gale inspired the Crystal Palace comeback. The display was so reminiscent of the Reds' famous Champions League final triumph against AC Milan in Istanbul, albeit in reverse, that it led this more recent fixture to swiftly be named Cristanbul. Liverpool would fail to win the league title that season too. Number 6, Manchester United 8-2 Arsenal August 28, 2011. For so many years, the Red Devils and the Gunners fiercely wrestled for superiority within the English game, but towards the end of Wenger's time in charge, his Arsenal teams couldn't quite compete with the unwavering strength of United under Sir Alex. This became apparent early on in the 2011-12 season when Man United put 8 past a weakened Arsenal team, making for their heaviest league defeat since 1927. In the aftermath of this defeat, Wenger uncharacteristically turned to the transfer market and splashed out on Mikel Arteta and Per Mertesacker, and 3 other players in the space of 48 hours, in what was dubbed a trolley dash at the time. Those 2 deals actually turned out to be pretty great business for the club, but I'm sure most fans would have preferred it if less shambolic circumstances could have led to the transfers. Number 5, Chelsea 2-2 Tottenham Hotspur, May 2, 2016. In what has since been dubbed the Battle of the Bridge, this game will forever be remembered as one of the most hot-tempered clashes in Premier League history. Spurs came into the game with outside hopes of winning the league and must have been feeling pretty good about life as they led 2-0 at halftime thanks to goals from Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. From this point, however, Tottenham suffered a total and collective head loss as Gary Cahill and Eden Hazard netted once each to see the game finish all square at 2-2. Remarkably, nobody was sent off, but at one stage, just about every player on the pitch seemed to butt heads, and Spurs still managed to pick up 9 yellow cards, the most by a side in a single Premier League game. The home team's dropped points also allowed Leicester to secure their famous title win. Number 4, Manchester United 4-3 Manchester City, September 20, 2009. Even for neutrals, the Manchester Derby is always one to make out on the calendar when the fixture list drops ahead of the start of every season. And this game at Old Trafford back in 2009 delivered the goods in every sense. During the previous summer window, Carlos Tevez controversially left United to join City, and this was the first time he returned to the club as a rival player. The Red Devils had replaced him with Michael Owen, and it was Sir Alex Ferguson who had the last laugh as the veteran striker netted a 96th-minute winner, despite the away team equalising on 3 different occasions to make it 3-3 right up until the dying embers of the match. Tevez didn't get his name on the scoresheet, but it did take him just 27 minutes to get his name in the book. Number 3, Newcastle 4-4 Arsenal, February 5, 2011. The third and final 4-4 featuring Arsenal on this list, and by far the most painful one for Gunners to recall. Indeed, this may well be the most gut-wrenching collapse in Premier League history as Wenger's men surrendered a 4-goal lead at St James Park. The away team led 3-0 after just 10 minutes, thanks to Theo Walcott, Johan Giroud, and Van Persie. By halftime, their Dutch striker had added enough to make it 4, but in the 50th minute, Abu Diaby was sent off after lashing out at a characteristically nasty challenge from Joey Barton. The Englishman would net 2 penalties, alongside Leon Best's effort to bring the Magpies within 1 goal of a comeback. We all know what happened next as Sheikh Tayot volleyed in from distance to forever at number 2, Liverpool 4-3 Newcastle United April 3, 1996. Newcastle had been 12 points clear at the top of the table in January 1996 and looked set to seal their first top-flight title in 69 years. However, by April they'd been overtaken by Man United but were still in with a shot at the title, as were opponents Liverpool, although their chances weren't as good. The game delivered excitement throughout as Robbie Fowler's second-minute effort was cancelled out just 12 minutes later after goals from Les Ferdinand and David Ginola. Fowler leveled the scores in the second half, but again Newcastle took the lead, this time through Faustino Asprilla. Stan Collymore would prove to be the hero of the day, however, as he scored twice to win the game for the Reds, with his second goal coming in the 90th minute. By the end of the month, the pressure seemed to get to Magpies boss Kevin Keegan, who delivered his famous "I will love it if we beat them" speech, referring to Man United, who would ultimately hold their nerve to finish first. Number 1, Manchester City 3-2 QPR, May 13, 2012. At one end of the table, you had Man City, who looked all but certain to seal their first Premier League title. At the other end, you had Queen's Park Rangers, who were fighting desperately to avoid relegation. When the two teams met on the final day of the 2011-12 season, it made for unforgettable entertainment. With Man United winning at Sunderland, City knew they needed all 3 points to secure the title, but tension grew after Djibril Cissé cancelled out Pablo Zabaleta's opener. Barton got himself a red card and yet QPR managed to go ahead through Jamie Mackie. In the 92nd minute, Edin Dzeko pulled one back, but it wouldn't be enough for City as United had beaten the Black Cats by this stage. And yet, well, all know what happens next. Sergio Aguero scores a last-gasp winner, sending the City fans into a state of absolute delirium. Adding to the sense of boundless delight, QPR also avoided relegation despite their collapse. For all the tears of joy, it's a wonder the Etihad didn't fill up and overflow. Alan Shearer named this as the best game in Premier League history, and it's hard to argue with him on that. Thank you for enjoying this video. We